What's up, everyone? This is Ronnie coming to you today with two videos in a day. So, I just reviewed five of the hottest brands for this coming year, 2018. We'll already be a little bit into it, but hey, better late than never. Now, we're going to talk about brands that I've seen steadily decline since I've started reselling on eBay. Now, some of these brands are I believe the decline is gonna uh, keep going, and you kind of have to pick and choose what you pick up from these brands depending on, and that all what it depends on, what price point you're getting at these. If you're getting at $1, guess what? You're probably going to pick up everything by this brand and you're going to make money. But if you're like me, nothing ever goes to a half off day when we're around my area, really very seldom. Or if things are priced up, you kind of have to pick and choose from these brands. But we're going to get into it a little bit. One of the first brands that it is just too much out there, and it's Ralph Lauren. If you're looking for the bottom of the Ralph Lauren stuff, the regular polo shirts, the regular button front dress shirts, they're just not going to sell really that well. And you're fighting with a huge competition out there on these pieces. You really have to pick and choose with the Ralph Lauren brand in itself. And it's a huge brand with a lot of sub different brands. Like we talked about, the vintage stuff is going for crazy money right now. It's been going for crazy money the last few years. It's just been red hot. If you find the vintage, the crazy, look up Ralph Lauren, go on eBay, look it up, go through top to bottom, and it's just crazy some of the pieces what they're going for. But if you're going to pick up the regular polo shirts and you're going to try to pick them up for $5 to resell them, pass. It's a hard pass. Like, just go. Like, don't even pick them up. Big and tall stuff always sells. So if you can find anything, usually over like 2XL is not that great, but if you can find up 2 extra tall, 2 extra big, they usually do well. All the way up to, I think they go to like 6X. That stuff will usually sell well. Bigger people have a hard enough time finding stuff, don't like trying stuff on in stores, so they'll buy stuff online. eBay is a great place for people to buy stuff. Um, and another thing is you want to look for the Ralph Lauren really has three brands that resell really well with inside their brand. They have the just do a screen share just to show you within their brand. You have the black label, black label Ralph Lauren. It's just a black tag, says Ralph Lauren, like this. Ignore the tags. I've seen people list the Ralph by Ralph Lauren as a black label or purple label. It's not. Ralph by Ralph Lauren is actually it's made for Dillard's. It's like a private uh, labeling. It was made for Dillard's, and I think Dillard's only. No different than you'll see the green labels, and now I think they're like a tan, the newer ones. Lauren by Ralph Lauren. They're actually made. They were made by the brand is. It's like they're wholesaled out. Uh, they just lease the name technically. So a lot of those are flooded. There's just so much of it, and it's not really that great. But the black label Ralph Lauren stuff does fairly well. The suits do really well. I've had some luck with the dress shirts and so on and so forth. Really don't find this all that much, believe it or not. This is the purple label. It's a purple label. It's script lettering. I find this not that often, but I found a few suits. I found a few sport coats. I found probably 10 dress shirts over 5 years. The stuff is out there. The dress shirts don't sell as great as they used to, but if you could find the suits and the sport coats, they still sell really well. The ties will sell really well. The jackets, outerwear sell great. And last is the Ralph Lauren Double R. This is kind of it was kind of like their Western line. I think they've kind of tweaked it a little bit because I found like a seersucker jacket. That's a little odd to have this label on a seersucker jacket. It's not really Western. It was more Western inspired. They've kind of changed a little bit over time. Kind of looks more like a vintage logo, but double R, Ralph Lauren, see right there, double R, and then the L. This sells really hot. Every time I've ever found this in Ralph Lauren, I found 5 or 6 pieces over the years. It sells really well. But you got to pick and choose in that brand what you buy and what price point you get it at. The same thing with another brand, Brooks Brothers. And you got to remember these two brands, Ralph Lauren and Brooks Brothers, they're very common brands. We'll come across these brands a lot because they're at every store almost now. Marshalls, TJ Maxx, sells these. Our Marshalls has Brooks Brothers coming across it at like every other store. So you just have to really look out for it. Brooks Brothers, same thing. You got to understand what to stay away from, what not. Their dress shirts, polo shirts. There's a lot out there. A lot. I don't pick them up really anymore. Don't pick them up at all. At $5, it's hard for me to move them and make a profit and work sitting on 2-3 times my money in 4 months. Like, it's not worth it for me anymore. Their dress shirts only go for about $80 now, 65 to $80. I think you can get them out the outlet. I've gotten them in the past. Like 4 years ago, we picked up maybe 20 pairs at an outlet for under $20, and we're selling for $50, $60. But if you can get them that low, it's kind of hard to resell them used pre-owned on eBay. But there are some brands within and some things within Brooks Brothers that sell really well. Gold tone metal button blazers by Brooks Brothers sell almost automatically. Will sell. It doesn't matter which level of Brooks Brothers it is, they sell. And then if you look, they have usually there's 2 suits that really do well with the Brooks Brothers. I'll buy almost any suit that's Brooks Brothers for the most part. 2-piece suit, sell automatically. The sport jackets, you really have to be picky, especially if you're paying $10 or more for these. Really have to be picky in what you pick up. Some do sit a while. Some have sit a while for me. The 818 line is a step higher. It's probably a $1,500, well, say $1,200 to $1,500 suit. Do really well. Golden Fleece is their top of the line. Now, a lot of people come across the older Golden Fleece stuff from like the 70s, 80s. It's still in demand, but you got to remember, it's not the newer stuff. The newer stuff is going to do better. Golden Fleece, probably $200 to $2,500 for a suit. I mean, when you're at that price point, you're more than Hugo Boss. You're on par or higher than Giorgio Armani. You're higher than you're up there in Zegna territory, Canali territory. Well, even a little bit higher than Canali. When you start talking in that Golden Fleece line, that Golden Fleece line is their line. People love it, and it sells really well. And with that being said, and also another Brooks Brothers line that does really well, they discontinued it, is the Black Fleece line. Black Fleece line, most of the time you're gonna find it. They're in different odd sizes because they're made in conjunction with Tom Browning, another great American brand. But Tom Browning made the Black Fleece line. A lot of these have come up in like secondary stores like Marshalls, TJ Maxx over the years. They don't offer that line anymore. Brooks Brothers actually discontinued it. There's a following for that because it is very high quality clothing, really nice, more of like geared towards younger people. And with that line, you have their sizing is a little different too. It's like BB1, BB2, BB3, BB4, BB5. So you have to find their thing and figure out the difference in the sizing. I found a few pieces pre-owned, but I found more used pieces on the secondary stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls to make a profit out of them. Another brand that I've seen, and people are gonna probably argue with me about this brand, is Patagonia. Patagonia, if you're finding the lower end stuff, it's not really selling as well as it used to. You used to be able to sell some of the shirts pretty well, but there's a lot of the shirts out there now. There's just too many. People letting them go too low, and they're not really huge price new. So this is a brand that I really pick and choose what I stay. The jackets I will pick up all day. The T-snaps I'll pick up all day, especially if you could find them with the crazy designs. They sell well. But you could even buy Patagonia T-snaps with the crazy designs on the website for $100. I remember selling some for almost $200 with the crazy designs. So it all depends really with pick and choosing with that brand. Patagonia. Patagonia is a great brand, but you really got to pick and choose. I picked up some jeans by them, and I was lucky to get 20 something dollars for them, and I paid 7. For me, that's not really a good flip. It's not good enough for me. But if you can get it for half price, you can get it for $3, $2, $1. It's a good brand to pick up. But it seems to slow down the popularity a little bit. Maybe there's just an overabundance of it out there, and that's what a lot of these brands come into. There's an overabundance of them online, versus people have wore Patagonia, they moved on. Then maybe they're buying Arc'teryx, or they're buying Marmot, or they're buying Columbia. Who knows? But it seems like those people kind of spread it out a little bit and went on to some other brands. Another brand, and uh, Vineyard Vines. I know some people are going to be like, what? No, you just didn't say that brand. I still sell that brand. I'm not saying sell that brand, but I've seen the value. Decline. Dress shirts, polo shirts, even the ties have sell for a little bit, sell going downhill a little bit. I sell some pieces, make good money on it. But this is another brand that I go into Marshalls, I go into TJ Maxx. I see a lot of it, and it's out there. Now, I stay away from a lot of it. I pick up some of it. It just all depends on the price point I can get into it. But there's definitely an overabundance of this brand. This is a very popular brand, and this brand sells great. There's a huge following for it. People love the logo. I got a logo on the back of my truck. My wife put on the damn back of the truck. My wife loves this brand. Um, but there's definitely a lot out there. It's caught up. This is a newer brand too. This is a brand that started making ties back 15 years ago on Martha Vineyard, and now there was in Nantucket. No, Martha Vineyard, Vineyard Vines, Martha Vineyard. Yeah, Vineyard Vines, Martha Vineyard makes sense. But they started making ties. They made these print ties. They're very similar to Hermes print ties, if you know what I'm talking about. And they're out there. I mean, there's an overabundance of it because it's a very popular brand for the last 15 years. And you could even throw Southern Tide in with that same brand. Little fishy logo, one is a whale, but both very preppy, kind of took over and kind of along that Ralph Lauren line of clothing and kind of took it over the bottom of the line stuff. But I mean, you could buy this stuff. You could buy shirts for $35 brand new at Marshalls and TJ Maxx. It's a brand that's definitely on the decline. And I'm not saying I still pick stuff up. I picked up a tie the other day. $1 for a tie. I'm gonna sell it probably for 25. Not bad. I'll take it. But I'm not gonna go paying up for these items because they're not that great, I think. Another brand is Robert Graham. Robert Graham, when I started selling, it was an okay brand, and then it seemed like it went freaking out of control for a little while, where you put up almost any Robert Graham shirt with the flip cuff design, and it was a crazy design. You were going to get probably 75 to or up. It just seemed like it was going to go crazy. No matter, it had to be the flip cuffs design. Now, if you go to their website, they have certain models of shirts that you'll see on sale for $49. You know, got to pick and choose with the Robert Graham. I've never picked up their polo shirts just because I've never sold them really that well. And anytime I see them, they're a little too bit high price for me. But their dress shirts, I mean, not their dress shirts don't really sell all that great. Same thing with Vineyard Vines. If you find a dress shirt, and I mean dress shirt where dress shirt size like 1735, they've really never sold that well for me. There's no whale on it, or there's no, we're going back to Robert Graham. There's nothing interesting about it really all that much. Especially if they have that last snap button. It just seems like that's their lower end. It just I can't get much for those shirts. I get $30 for those shirts. If I'm buying them for $5 or $10, it's really not a huge. And they've sit forever now. Um, but there's still some Robert Graham stuff that sells well. You find limited edition stuff. This stuff is actually hand numbered. I've sold them for over $100. Some of the exclusive designs have gone really well. We sold one for like 75 not too long ago. I sold two limited edition shirts for close to 150, and one was missing some of the buttons. So I mean, if you go out there, you look for this stuff. This stuff is out there, but you really have to pick and choose what you want, and understand that if you get in more plain Jane, more regular medium Robert Graham shirt, and it's blue with maybe a red flip cuffs, it's probably going to take a long time to sell, or it's going to sell in the bottom of that price range, 25, $30. You really have to pick and choose what you buy with the Robert Graham. Getting these names all mixed up. I hope you follow along with me. And a lot of those other kind of flamboyant dress shirt brands have just fell off for the most part, like Roar, oh shit, Bugatti Umo, English Laundry. There's a bunch of those, like flamboyant, I'm gonna call them. And if you ever notice, it was the shirts that the guy on Modern Family wore. The can't think of his name. Can never remember his name. The chubbier gay guy wore them in the show. And if you could find some of the ones he wore on the show, you could actually get. I've figured it out one time by picking up a certain style, and people were putting that style as like $150, and it sold for that price because you could go back to this episode and have him wearing that shirt, and it was actually pretty interesting. Another brand that's kind of fell off is Lilly Pulitzer women's line. Just it doesn't sell that great for me. It's never sold that great for me. It seems like ever since they did that collaboration with Target, it seemed like they devalued the brand a little bit. And it just doesn't seem like the market is hugely there for that brand for me. Like I pick them up and it's like, nah, what happened here? I just can't sell anything. Now, it depends on the pattern. If you could find the dark and stormy pattern, that pattern does extremely well. We found two ties in that pattern. And believe it or not, it was weird because we found them both in like a month apart in the same town, in town of Chatham at two different estate sales a month apart, and sold them on eBay. I sold one on auction for like 180, and it was used. I had a new one. I put the new one online, and I think we got like 400 or $450 for it for the tie. So it was crazy. But that print is very limited, and people go crazy for that line, for that print. Certain prints do well, but overall, it's always been a hard pass for me recently. And thrift stores know this brand, so they price it up through the sky. The men's line does fairly well for me. If I get anything from the men's line, I believe the men's line is discontinued, especially if you can find the vintage stuff. It sells really well. And it's good for good prices. But the women's line, I don't really mess with it anymore. Now, I'm gonna get crap for saying these two brands, but these two brands, Canali and Cameronildo Zegna, I probably killed that name. We're just gonna call it Zegna and Canali, are two brands you really have to pick and choose what you pick up and what price point you get into them at. It just seems like they don't sell for as high prices they should. Canali is a great suit, but it seems like they make a suit that's more dated. You'll find a lot of 3-button plaited front pants. They're kind of more towards, they're dated a little bit, their style designs on their suits. And when you find some of the newer label stuff, you can do really well. Like Canali has It's a 1934 line, I believe. Sells really well, but it's like a little bit more higher priced. I think more modern line of clothing they make. But the old Canali stuff just seems to sit for me for large periods of time, unless I just want to throw it out the door. Every once in a while, I'll sell a suit, $200, $300, but it'll take a while to sell it at that price point. So, just something to think about. But and Zegna, you really have to be careful because they kind of have three uh, tags that come out, and I'll do a screenshot to show you. Because depending on the tags, you really depend on the price that you can get for the item. This right here, well, we'll go to this one first. This is their older tag. You'll see it right here. This is an older tag from them. This is pre, uh, mostly 90s tag right here. You'll see this with a lot of suits. These just have a hard sell for me. And you see right here, it's a drop 7. Drop 7 means basically the difference between the suit jacket size and the waist. And they're in Euro size. So actually a 58 to 48. The L is a long. So this would be a 58 long. The waist in these pants should be a 41, if that makes sense. Drop 7 is the difference between the waist measurement or the waist measurement compared to the jacket size. But anyway, this is their older tag. These tags are really hard sell for sport jackets for me, unless there's something really unique for them. But very hard hard sell for me. This is a more recent tag from them. This is from about early 2000s to about 2013, 2014. These are their tags. And right down here, a little bit below where it says the 100% wool, and it'll actually tell you if it's a jacket or sport coat or suit. It'll say suit or jacket, blazer, a jacket, I believe it says. You see right here, 52R, which is actually a 42 regular, and drop 7, same thing. It's kind of the cut of the jacket. You'll see drop 8, drop 6, just depends. But these tags, you'll get a little bit more for your Zegna jackets. And then you see right here, I found this jacket the other day. This is a nice, see right there, it has a nice print to it. This is a Zegna jacket. But this is the newest tag by them. This is more recent, 2015 or newer. It has this tag. You'll see this tag from anywhere from the newer jackets, from like mid 2000s. But the inner tag is what you really want to look for, and you can tell. See right here, this is different than those other two tags. On the back has all the information, so on and so forth. It actually says on here, yeah, it actually see right there, jacket. So people get confused. Is it a jacket? Is it a vest? Or not a jacket? Is it a suit jacket? Or so on and so forth. Suit jacket. Got to remember it has pants. Pick this up. This will sell really well. You'll get more money for newer stuff. Now Zegna really has 3 lines of stuff, and their stuff, if you ever notice, their dress shirts, their ties sell really low. For a shirt that retails for probably $150, you'll be lucky if you can get $20 for it. It just seems like they just don't sell that well on eBay. There's too many of them. They don't seem to keep the value, and this goes in with Canali too. They just don't seem to keep this the value that they should. These are like buying a BMW off the lot, and then 5 years later, you're like, wow, I lost a lot of profit on my car. That's what it really comes down to. They just don't hold their value whatsoever that great for whatever reason. I don't know. But it's crazy. But if you can find the more recent stuff, it actually does very well. I actually stay away from any and all dress shirts by them now. I don't pick them up. The sweaters I'll pick up occasionally, but sweaters are a hard sell these days. The jackets, sport coats, it just depends on the pattern. It really does, because I've had some really nice ones sit for a while. Just got to be careful what you've got to pick up on this brand. Suits are not bad, but I have a nice woolen cashmere suit that's been sitting for like a year and a half, and I even tried auctioning it off, and it didn't sell that well, which was crazy. So it's one of those brands, but it's a hard sell unless you're just throwing to get rid of it, the value of it, just throwing it down, pricing it low. Unless you can find the newer tags, and sometimes that's not when you understand um, what something is worth, is understanding the tags and how to distinguish a newer tag from an older tag. Another brand is Nat Nas. Nat Nas, and what we could put, if Nat Nas was a brand, if you ever watched Three and a Half Men, no, was it Two and a Half Men or three? Two and a Half Men. We're screwing shit up over here. Two and a Half Men, Charlie Sheen, he always wore those bowling style shirts. They were made by Nat Nas. When I started reselling, when was right around that time of that show dying off, about 6 years ago. Now you could get for that shirt at the time probably, I don't know, used shirt I could get 50, 60, even sometimes during they have limited edition shirts, and you could get, I don't know, I got up to like 125 for a limited edition shirt for a V4. Now the limited edition shirts still do somewhat okay. They don't do that great. And the regular Nat Nat shirts in general don't do that great. You really have to find either special or something a little bigger in size. The 2X have done well for me, but if you're buying a smaller or medium, it's not that great. And once again, it all depends on what price point you can get in that shirt at. If you're paying $1, guess what? Pick them all up because you're gonna sell them. But if you're picking them up $5, $10, what most shirts cost for me, I really got to be picky with what I pick up. But we all know nobody fucking with that show anymore. Nobody's messing with Charlie Sheen. Like, it's a wrap. And it also goes in with the last brand, Tommy Bahama. Tommy Bahama is a very popular brand. There's so much of it available out there. It's everywhere. We see this in the secondary markets like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Um, there's a lot of it out there. Now, do I pick not? I don't pick up all of it, but if it's a bigger size, I'll pick it up. If it's newer tags, I'll pick it up. If it has the embroidered back designs, I'll pick it up. But I don't pick up the pants really. I have a new pair with tags, and I can't get rid of it for the life of me. There's some Tommy Bahama stuff that's unique and different. It actually sells really well. But there's a lot of it that just it's a hard push. It's a hard sell. You want to stay away from it because it'll just sit forever. Or people don't understand. They find a Tommy Bahama shirt. It'll be a medium, and it'll be a cream color shirt, and they'll be like, "Oh." People ask me to check out their store, and they're trying to get $50 for it because they don't understand the difference between this Tommy Bahama shirt and the shirt that actually does sell for 50. So you really have to stay away from certain ones, pick up others. But it's a brand that's definitely on the decline. It's definitely declining. But there's certain things within that brand that actually do sell. I hope this was helpful. I hope you like these videos. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later. Have a good day.